welcome to the end of May edition, to you by June sometime.
What Jonas means to say is episode 5.
Yes, there we go.
It's right here. You wrote it.
I even gave it a title. So welcome to episode 5 of the Glacial Knits podcast. Thanks for joining us. It's Memorial Day weekend here in Minnesota. That looks like a treat.
This right here, this sums up my life.
It kind of does right now. So, first off, welcome to new member on the forum, Craftystockinette from Detroit. Thanks for joining us.
Hi and thanks.
Hi and thanks.
I also noticed, because occasionally the YouTube channel emails me when it feels like it, that we've gotten a few new YouTube subscribers, so thank you to all of you. As possibly, probably, maybe some of you have seen, the podcast is on iTunes now, officially.
That's right.
I got it to work. The reason it was not working was beyond ridiculous. So we'll just let it be. The important part is that it's working. It's not the right number of stitches.
Again, sums up your life right now.
I had to take... I was gonna run out of yarn, so I had to rip this back last night. I had to rip... So then all the stitch markers...
Are wrong?
Yeah.
So, we're going to do... Usually we start with knitting, but we're going to do life updates first this time. The girl who crafted here and I were down in Omaha for some work travel. And Omaha is a way cooler city than I thought it would be. We went to the zoo. Got my penguin shirt from the zoo. I love penguins. They have a really great penguin exhibit there.
Yeah, maybe we should put in the video. We took some video. There was our favorite thing, and I could have watched it all day, is they have king penguins. It's one of the kinds of penguins they have. And they were just chilling up on the rocks, but there was like this fake snow machine from the ceiling. And this one was just like standing directly under the snow, like, whatever, man, it's snowing on me, for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's about how much we were watching, and like he moved once.
He just kind of like would occasionally like shake the snow off his head and then just be like, still getting snowed on.
Yep. It kind of had like that distant, artsy, like disinterested, like look from like an old black and white photograph or something, sitting there being snowed on.
Yeah, it was great.
Proudly looking into the distance.
That penguin was great. Everything about it was great.
Yes, I love that penguin so much.
Yeah, and then the others were having fun also.
Swimming around and stuff. Yeah, I could have totally done that. The other highlight of the zoo was the elephants, who were just having so much fun breaking down the trees that had been put into their enclosure.
Yeah, like they had trees, and the volunteer zoo guide was like, yeah, those were whole trees this morning, and they were kind of eating them, but one of them just seemed really content to just pick them up in her trunk and then like snap them in half and then throw them to the ground, and then pick up another one and then snap it in half and then throw it to the ground.
We do not have a video of that, sadly.
No, I sort of wish I did, because that elephant was having a lot of fun breaking those trees. And so I, being a prairie ecologist, I like trees, don't get me wrong. They have their place. But their place is not on the prairie, which, people like trees. I get it. Really screwed this up. It's fine, I fixed it.
Okay.
Sort of. I sort of fixed it. I'll fix it better later. I'm not anti-tree. I'm just anti-trees on the prairie. And so one of the places we were staying was the Lead Lodge, which is connected to the Morton family and who started Arbor Day.
Yeah.
Arbor Day's cool. Arbor Day's great. But my problem with Arbor Day is that the Arbor Day farm is in the middle of Nebraska, which is historically much of Nebraska is grassland. And they were like, no, plant trees. And they just got, the whole point of Arbor Day was getting all of the people in Nebraska to get together and plant trees in the grasslands. And that makes me, knowing what I know about how that area should look, it upsets me. But one of the things we learned on the tour of the house was that their goal, Morton, his goal was to plant 1 million trees. And I told Jonas that my new goal is to rip out 1 million trees and plant grass. But
not like turf grass.
No, not like turf grass, like prairie grass.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to use elephants.
Yeah.
All of that is to say, I am going to accomplish this with elephants.
Yes. So what else was great about Omaha?
Well, I mean, we're nerds. So our stuff was all nerdy stuff. If you, like us, are a fan of things being done at Saddle Creek Records, the little block that has Saddle Creek Records and Slow Down, and there's a coffee shop, and then there's a cute little local artist boutique. I should have brought my glass out to show you, since part of what I do is make maps. They had a bunch of glassware that was etched with maps of Omaha, so yeah. I have that now.
And we also bought secret stuff for this yarn swap.
We did buy stuff for the yarn swap. We went to 2 yarn stores. We went to Imagine It and
the other one.
What was it called? Something Threads?
Something Threads?
Prairie Girl Susie will know.
Yeah. Prairie Girl Susie, if you're watching this.
We met up with Susie from the Prairie Girls Knit and Spin podcast. So Prairie Girl Susie at the yarn store, and we'll put it in the show notes because I know what it is. I just can't think of what it's called.
Yeah, I can't either off the top of my head.
And we didn't get to hang out very long, but we did get to see Susie for a little bit and spend some time, which was pretty cool because I like Susie, and we'll see her again in June, and then hopefully again in July when they come to Minneapolis.
Yeah. It'll be pretty great.
So that's pretty exciting. Yeah. Knitting friends. We had a really great talk with Carla at Imagine It.
Yeah. She's great.
She's great. I mean, I felt bad because I had to drop off a blanket square for the Prairie Girl blanket project, and their hours. Imagine It doesn't have their hours on the internet that I could find, and so I was like, well, let's go over there, and it was like 6:05, and the door said they closed at 6, but the open sign was still open. And I was like, all right, I don't want to be like that person, but let me just run in and drop this off. And I was like, Carla was there, and she's like, oh no, it's fine, as long as I'm here, we're still open. And then she talked to us for like another hour and a half.
Yeah.
And I was
Which
like,
was great.
I feel really bad because I feel like I'm keeping you from doing whatever it is that you would normally be doing after you close your shop. And she was like, no problem. And she's so nice. She's such a nice person. So highly recommended if you're in Omaha, stop in. She carries a lot of, she tries to carry like stuff by local dyers, and just, it's a cute little store.
It is.
The 2 stores we went to are very different. But both good in their own rights. The other one, I wish I remember what it's called. They had a wall of koigu that really made me stop for a minute. And it was right before the wall of Malabrigo. So.
Yeah. Yes. Yarn I'm knitting with right now is from Imagine It, but I
Yeah.
can't tell you about it because this is the project for the swap.
Yeah, that's...
So I can show you the project from the swap, which I will later, but I can't talk about
we can't
it.
really... There's a couple things. I'm working on a swap thing too, but...
on the off chance.
Yeah.
So the other weird thing, so we stayed in this place called Even, which is, they call it a fitness hotel, which we were like, okay, whatever, it probably just has a big fitness room, which it did, and a big pool, which it did. But then also in room, it like had like a pole with like a bunch of different resistance bands on it, and like yoga stuff. And when you turned on the TV, it defaulted to like the whatever 10-minute workout of like the hour.
There was a whole book too in the room of of workouts. It was weird. I mean, it's cool. I like the concept because it is the point of it was like, you know, if you've got a routine, it's usually disrupted by travel. Yep. So, you know, don't disrupt your routine. Like, just use this yoga mat and this stuff and in the rooms, and it's cool. It's a cool concept. A little weird in execution, but a cool concept. And the rooms are bigger so that you have room to do your workouts, which is nice.
But like not at all soundproof.
No, it was like very loud in there.
Yeah. Bro doing kettlebells.
Yeah, like the people upstairs doing kettlebells was like very obvious to me. Yeah, and they had a juice. The downstairs was cool because in the lobby they just had like a juice bar. Like you could get them to make you juice and various things. The food was allegedly better for you. Everything in that town is cooked in soybean oil, so there were only like 2 places we could eat. Although we went to Salt 88, and they were great about dietary stuff. So if you've got dietary restrictions and you're traveling through Omaha and you have a car, because it is not necessarily, it's not in downtown at all. So you would need to get there, but they were great, and we ate there twice actually. Yeah, because they were great.
Great. Yep. So can't recommend them enough.
Yeah, and the people in the hotel lobby restaurant worked some stuff out for us for breakfast too. They did what they could do, and they were very helpful. Yeah, I appreciated it.
I did too. Got like a little emotional because somebody cared about like what I could and couldn't eat, and wasn't just like, yeah, that's probably fine, and then you hope you don't get sick.
Yeah, I mean it's hard when you're traveling to like, you have to put a lot of faith in other people that they care about your problem as, you know, to a degree that you care about your problem, which you really can't always do. I'm sorry, wiping my face. My nose is running for like some inexplicable reason. I sneezed like an hour ago. I don't know. I think the Roomba kicked up all the dust. We'll talk about that too, I guess. We just got a Roomba. The first time we used it was this morning. So we just literally spent 2 hours of our lives following a robot around the house while it vacuumed.
Which is good. It tried to attack some things, like the corner where the speaker wire was running up to one of the TV speakers.
It was very determined that it was going to pull that speaker up. It was going to do it. So we had to kind of watch it. We had to keep, every time we saw it going over there, one of us had to run and stand in the corner and not let it go there. Yep. But I think it like kicked up some
extra dust. It sucked up enough dust.
It did. It
makes me feel my like sweeping has been wholly inadequate.
Right? I'm like, you know, I just swept the floor yesterday though. Obviously, you didn't do a good job.
Yep. Thanks for judging me, Roomba. Although at the same time, I'm weirdly emotionally attached to it, like it's a new puppy.
It is kind of like having a new puppy, and it just kind of kept going for about 2 hours until it wore itself out. So it's a little bit like having a new puppy. There too.
That's true. That's true. What else has been going on in life? So Zombie Knitpocalypse is coming up in like
less than 20 days.
It's not that long.
I know. There's a very It's a very helpful forums excitement chatter thread, and I love reading it because it's great because you're like, yeah, people are excited and you can talk and engage with people pre-retreat. But they always do every day somebody posts a photo with the number of how many days are left, and it's like stressing me out.
Mm-hmm.
Like I keep reading the thread because I'm like, oh, I want to engage with people around conversations and like talk about what I, share my knowledge of Rochester and like, here's what I know about dietary restrictions in Rochester and like, get excited about what people are bringing and all of that stuff. But then every time I look at that thread, I'm like, no!
Yep. So, I mean, there's all the dyeing and all of the winding going on.
Right now, there's all of the winding going on.
Uh-huh.
I feel like I should show them this ironing board. I'm going to turn this camera. I just want to show you, like, this is the winding this isn't even all of it. This is just the stuff that's queued up to be done first. So that is the Wind This ASAP yarn. And possibly in the background you can see the other pile of yarn that's sitting there. That is the Wind This After You Wind That pile of yarn. Yeah. So, yay. So, yeah, I have some winding to do. And it's good because I keep, I'm almost out of yarn, actually, to dye. But I keep being like, oh, I still have, X number of mini skeins left, and I still have 2 packages of full skeins left. And I keep having this, like, you should dye every yarn you have in the house to take to ZK so you have as much of everything as you can possibly have. And I don't have anything soaking or like getting ready to dye right now. And I have this guilt about it. Like, you should be dyeing yarn. And I was like, I think maybe if you just stop now, that's probably fine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have to come to terms with like what I have. And I mean, in an ideal world, I would have, a ton of skeins of everything I dye. And there's all these new colors. I just made a new color. We'll talk about it. And I have other colors that I haven't even dyed any of yet. I dyed a test color that I want to bring. But it's like, like we need to get the winding under control. We need to, at this point, shift into managing inventory and figuring out booth setup, I think.
Yes.
So I'm going to task Jonas with assuring me on a regular basis that it is okay that there is not yarn dyeing right now.
Mm-hmm. It is okay that there is not yarn dyeing right now. Wait, is there yarn dyeing right now?
There is not.
Okay.
It's not even yarn soaking, getting ready to dye right now.
It is okay that there is not yarn dyeing right now.
Both yarn pots are on the shelf.
Well, that is good.
It's been a first since we moved.
Yes. Yeah, it has been a constant production since you've gotten your dye studio set up down there. So do you want to do new colorways and yarn club, or should we talk about some knitting and then come back to that?
I feel like people want to know about our knitting, and
okay.
So we'll talk about knitting, and then we'll come back to that.
All right. So I am currently knitting a project.
A project.
It's a project you can infer based on the size of the needles and what I am doing, what type of project it will be.
Aren't you just swatching?
I am just swatching, but it's going to end up being about this big anyways.
That's true.
It's going to be on these needles.
That's true.
So, this is out of a single ply worsted yarn that I got from Imaginits. It's this really great earthy browns and reds, because my swap partner was talking about how they really liked deep earth tones. So I'm hoping they will be jamming on this. And the pattern name, which we'll link in the show notes eventually, or I will tell you the next time we have an episode when it'll be past the time of spoiling. It's a pattern that's it's named after a character from the theme of the swap. And then I also still have my Angularity shawl by Josh Ryks that I am working on. I am on the final section now. It has grown enormously. It will probably look eventually like it's going to swallow my face. And I was hoping I would have this done by ZK, but I feel pressured to make sure that I do the thing for the swap first, so I probably will not have this done so that I cannot run into, in air quotes, Josh Ryks at the retreat and ask him how the heck you wear his shawl.
Yeah, you're not actually signed up, so you can't go to his class because he's doing a how to wear your shawl class. So I will go by proxy. Not that I don't also need help wearing my shawls. And so hopefully I can maybe learn something about how to wear these shawls that we keep making.
Yeah. I like the idea of shawls. I really do. I'm just hoping I'll be able to actually execute it once, the time of reckoning sounds very overdramatic.
Time of reckoning.
Once I actually have to try to put it on.
Very good.
Yep, thanks.
I'm gonna finish what I'm doing. Cool. So the thing I am knitting on right now is also for this swap. This is for the Gilmore Girls swap. I feel like we should have told you that so that if you were in the Gilmore Girls swap, you could have stopped watching or jumped forward if you didn't want to see what we were doing. But Jonas being really cryptic about what swap we were doing did not really enable you to do that.
I like being cryptic.
Yeah, but it helps people if you're like, hi, if you're in this swap, don't look.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a much more direct way.
Yeah.
Of doing it rather than not really talking about the subject.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, it's easy enough to infer if you do a little back digging that we are in that swap, especially since we talked about it in the last episode.
Oh yeah, we did. And then there's all the posts on Ravelry in that swap board.
Uh-huh.
Good point.
That was wrong.
Uh-oh.
It's fine. There's only 2 stitches that were wrong. Okay. Talk about my things.
Yeah.
This is also for the Gilmore Girls swap. So again, if you are in this swap, probably skip this part. We'll put it. Oh, that's ambitious of me. I will attempt to remember to put in the show notes the timestamp of when I'm done talking about this. I like it when people do that for me, so I'll try to remember to do it for you. This is my first ever Martina Bam pattern. I know everyone loves like hitchhikers and all that. I don't get it. It's not a shape of shawl that I would wear. I mean, maybe if I learned how to wear it, I could wear it, but my partner really said that they really like this color, and I had this yarn that I wanted to use, and fortuitously, I'd been wanting to use up some of this yarn, and my partner said, I really like this color, and I thought, oh yay, I have yarn that I can use. And so it's for Gilmore Girls, and so my partner said that they like Lorelei, and Lorelei's got a thing with the first snow. She always says that she can smell snow, and it's the first snow is special to her, and so this is called Snowflake Party. It looks like it has little lace, 6 round lace things on it, like snowflakes, so maybe you can see them. It's hard to lace on. And so it's mostly garter stitch, and it has this edging, and then it has this snowflake pattern, which it's pretty easy once you get the hang of it. It's really big because it's garter stitch and it still has to block, so hopefully my partner will like it. I'm
super jealous that you're that far on your swap project and I'm this far.
I also have way more knitting time than you.
I suppose that's true.
Because you have homework to do. I knit while you're doing homework.
Okay.
A lot. I'm supposed to be doing other work while you're doing homework. But usually I'm knitting. Also in swaps, Outlander swap. This is getting ready to ship. I'm going to ship it tomorrow. So, but before I ship it, I will show it to you. So again, if you're in the Outlander swap with Odd Ducks and you don't want to see, take a break. This is the Isla wrap.
I really like that.
It's cute, right? It's like a shawl, cowl. Sarah, Mrs. Shu of Cultivate and Create calls them scowls. Because it's a cowl like this, but it comes down over your shoulders. And it's cute. And it just really reminded me of something Claire would probably have worn or been given to wear. Mm-hmm. And this is Cascade 220 Superwash Sport, so it's super soft and
it'll be
durable and nice. Yeah.
Because that was one of the things from that swap, wasn't it? And they're like, I just like stuff that I can throw in the.
Yeah, like one of their things was like, I just want to be able to wash it, and they really like burnt orange, and I was like, oh, well, I have just the yarn for that too. I keep getting matched with exactly the right people for like, I have yarn for you. It's good. And then I bought some stuff for it, but I'll show you this. This is one of my favorite indie dyers. They're mostly local. It's in Iowa, that's just in Iowa. But this is Dreams in Fiber. It's pretty. Sparkle soft. I have a bunch of their Outlander colorways, so it was like the first place I turned when they said, when I thought, oh, I'm in an Outlander swap, I have to buy Outlander yarn. And I was like, oh, I know who has Outlander yarn. Dreams in Fiber.
Yep.
And then also I made this project bag.
Adorable.
It's cute, right? Like, I ordered fabric on Spoonflower, so it's like super cartoony Claire and Jamie in the wedding outfits on the outside, and then the inside is a quote from the book that says the if you're familiar with the book, it's the blood of my blood quote, and basically says that no matter what happens, Claire can't leave, whatever. If you know the book, you probably know the quote. If you know the series, I think it's in the series too, because it's from book 2. But it's got a pocket of that on the inside too. Yeah. So, I think they're cute. I like it.
I think it's cute too. I also like it.
So that is that finished object. I kind of went out of order. I finished objects before I finished whips, but that was because I was like swap and then swap.
It's okay. We can be a little chaotic, a little free and loose.
Everything's a little chaotic these days. I'm so close to done with this Gilmore Girls sock, you guys. So close to done. I'm also so close to done with Gilmore Girls, like midway through season 6. So it basically will have taken me the entire show to knit this one pair of socks.
Which is a long time for you.
Yeah, this is like, the sock is patterned everywhere. It's got this whole big cable thing down the leg on both socks, on 2 sides. Every row is a cable pattern. It's not just like, I knit a sock. You know, it's like I knit a sock. So this is the foot part. And I have, let's see, 3.5 of the X's done, and I need to do 6 before I start the toe. So I'm getting there. And I can do, usually, on the foot, I can do about 1 X per episode. On the leg, it was about half an X per episode.
Cool.
So these are Regretting Tonight's Foolish Mayhem. They are by KnittyMelissa. The yarn is Good Trip. on the Will and Grace sock by Spartickes Dyes, part of the Gilmore Girls Club. I like it.
Yeah.
I have this much yarn left, so I'm also playing yarn chicken a little bit, which I'm mad about because I measured. Like I weighed everything, and I think based on current rates of consumption that I'm gonna be good, but I also might not be good. And then I'm gonna be like to where I start the toe, and then I'm gonna have to rip this back and take out a repeat on the leg, and then I'm gonna have to rip out the toe of the other sock and take out a repeat on the leg, and then reknit the feet of both socks.
That sounds horrible.
It does sound horrible.
I hope that doesn't happen.
I really hope that doesn't happen to me. I really just want these needles back.
Yeah. And those are 5? No, those are your...
My zeros.
Yeah, I'm like, you're knitting socks. You wouldn't be knitting socks on a 5. Sorry about that.
That's fine. In other socks. I have so much yarn left. So, I don't remember if I was done last time or not, but I finished one of these Real Madrid socks for this year. Out of, colorways, the name's changing, stay tuned. They've currently won their league and are trying to win Champions League June 3rd.
Yep.
And if that happens, then it will have a different name than it has if they just win the league, which is a different name than I gave it originally. Mm-hmm. This has never been for sale, so it's not really confusing anyone other than me and those trying to keep up with me.
It's true.
It's maybe a lie. It is for sale right now. I put it in the shop because I thought maybe people would want it before Champions League.
Oh, okay. That's a good point.
Anyway, that's one sock. This is, oops, dropped that. Everything up to where I need to start the heel on the second sock. I'm ambitiously trying to finish this sock by June 3rd so that I can have these for Champions League. Although, honestly, if I don't have them to knit on during Champions League, I don't know what's going to happen. So I should probably not finish them. I should probably get them like mostly done so that I could finish them during the Champions League match. But I want to get this done first because I'm trying to get this done by the end of the month so it can count for the 12 in 17 for the Just One More Row podcast, because believe it or not, this is all one skeiny yarn. So, although to be fair, if I finish these by the end of May, they would also count. No, that's not true. I started them before May.
Yeah, you did.
They have to all be knit in May. Just kidding. These will count for the ZK knit along May. Yeah. Because I started them this year. So yeah, I'm prioritizing this, and then hopefully these will get done soon. I mean, although it'll be June, so if I'm not gonna make any predictions about our weather. Currently, I could be wearing these socks. Currently, I am wearing wool socks. Uh-huh. It's Memorial Day weekend here in the U.S., which is generally the unofficial start of summer stuff.
It's 60 and rainy.
60 and rainy. Although it's been beautiful the last few days, and we were out in the yard getting some stuff done, and we grilled out yesterday and ate on the deck, and
that was pretty nice.
It's pretty good. All right, that's my knitting.
All right.
Do you want me to talk about my yarn purchases? What do we want to talk about next?
Let's do yarn we bought or got.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about your new colorway.
Okay.
And the Outlander swap, and then we will pause for a tour of the dye studio.
Cool. Sorry, this episode's gonna be super long. We did a lot of stuff this month.
We did. We had lives that involved us leaving our house.
Yeah. All right. In order of purchase. I also went to a Doctor Who convention in town. So I'm a pretty big fan. We'll talk about a little bit about that at the end. Mostly of the new stuff, but also some of the older Doctor Who. Namely, I really like the 5th Doctor, Peter Davison. not necessarily because of Doctor Who, but because when I was a kid, I wanted to be a large animal vet. That was thanks to the original Dr. Dolittle movie, the musical with Rex Harrison, which I watched pretty much every day. So I also read all of the James Herriot, the All Creatures Great and Small series of books. And Tristan Farnon was my favorite character. And then they made a show, which was on PBS when I was a kid. I would watch it. And Peter Davison was Tristan, and he was super young and super attractive. And I was like, no, I love Tristan more, as my, 6-year-old self. And then I found out, it wasn't until much later that I found out that he played the Doctor on Doctor Who. I didn't watch it as a kid. I was not into it. I didn't really know Doctor Who was a thing so much. But later as an adult, I was like, wait, that's the guy that played Tristan Farnon. He's Doctor Who. I'm going to watch his episodes. So tangentially, I got into the Fifth Doctor, became my doctor mostly because I just love Peter Davison. And so he was supposed to be at this convention, which is why I was going to go. And then he got a job so he couldn't make it because, work and all that. I get it. But our local yarn store, Stephen B., does a line of what they call Nerd Alert yarns. And so for the show, they were doing a special Fifth Doctor colorway, which Bridget so kindly gave me a not-so-secret sneak preview of on Twitter prior to the show. So I could see it. And so I was like, well, I'm buying one, absolutely, no matter what. And it's kind of perfect. If you know the character, this is basically, he has these pants that are striped in all of these colors. He's wearing a cricket outfit, is his little doctor costume. And so he's the one with the long coat and the sweater with the cricket sweater. And his pants are this color, because I have fabric. I have a costume. I made a skirt. And the fabric is a mock-up of the original print, and it's pretty much these colors. So spot on. Love it. Not sure what I'm going to do with it yet. It's got to be exactly the right thing. But it's from Wild Hair Fiber Studio, which is the same as this yarn right here. And it's called An Apple a Day Keeps the Never Mind, which is a quote from the show. I'm not sure if they are going to... I'm sure that whatever they didn't sell at the show, they were going to move over to their inventory, but I'm not sure if they're going to keep doing this. So you may possibly be able to order it online from Stephen B.
Oh, look, if you can, I will put a link in the show notes.
Yes.
If you can't, I will just link you to Stephen B. in general.
Yeah, you should just... Their Nerd Alert stuff is all pretty great. So.
Yeah.
And then when we were at Personal Threads.
There you go.
When we were at Personal Threads in Omaha, walking around with Susie, I bought some yarn. I wasn't gonna, but I kept picking stuff up and going, I like this, and I like this color, and I like this color. And I bought some Malabrigo, but it was for a swap. I justified my purchase of Malabrigo. I really want, because it's for a swap. I really want it.
You can't have it.
I know.
For a swap.
And so that was all I was going to buy. I was like, no, because it doesn't count against my 12 purchases for the year. Everything's great. And then the longer we were in there, the more I kept picking up yarn. So I may have bought more than I intended. But this is Lorna's Lace's Soulmate, which I have knit socks out of in a different color. This is the one with Outlast Viscose, so it's the astronaut material. They use it in the spacesuits to keep the astronauts both warm and cool. And these socks really are great for being wool socks, because they're 55% superwash merino, 15% nylon, 13% Outlast, and they're so good in the summer. They're like wool socks, but your feet don't sweat. I love it. I love those socks. So I'll probably make more socks out of this, but it's called Tokyo, and it's sort of perfect because it is that gray and a darker gray. Like Tokyo's very buildings and concrete, but it has these pops of red pink in here, which makes me think about cherry blossoms, which, small secret, insider tip, while I was dyeing some stuff for one of the new gradient, which you'll see downstairs because it's drying, I made a pink color that made me think about cherry blossoms. I'm totally doing a cherry blossom yarn.
Nice.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, nice without...
Yeah.
Don't speak with needles in your mouth.
Yeah, I mean, you do you.
Yeah, okay.
So that's this. I really like it. Color. And then we were talking about all creatures great and small. It all comes back around, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. Which color did I have in the first place? This one?
Yeah. Yeah,
so this is Juniper Moon Farm. It's baby alpaca. 100% baby alpaca. It's worsted weight, I think. Feels like worsted weight. And it is their Harriet yarn, Harriet Tethers, and James Harriet is, the author of those books I like. Plus, alpaca is really soft, and I love it. Plus, this color was so pretty. You can't see it very well, probably, but it's mostly this purple color, but it's got this heathery blue in it. And it's just got such depth and dimension when you get up close that I really love it. And it really feels like the Barocco Ultra Alpaca, except that the Barocco's half or more than half merino, I think, and so this is even softer. It has a very similar hand, but it's like the littlest bit more squish. I like it. And so I had this and I was like, well, I don't know what I would do with it. And then I was looking at it more and I was like, well, I like this color, and I was like, there's a few other colors, and I was like, maybe I'll get one. But I couldn't decide what color to get, so I pulled out all the colors I liked, and I had them like this to show, and Susie was like, those all go together, and I looked at them and went, yep, they do. And then we both looked at it again and went, I can't unsee it. So now I have 4 skeins that are all coordinating. Yep. And they're all alpaca, and I don't really know what to do about that because they're 218 yards a piece. So if I make a shawl, it'll be huge. I have enough to make a sweater, but I have to figure out how to incorporate the 4 colors evenly into a sweater without it just looking like a chaos of...
I didn't know what to do, so I just started knitting and...
Yeah. So, suggestions and recommendations of something that will use, close to 1,000 yards of worsted weight alpaca.
In 4 colors.
In 4 colors. Because I couldn't not buy them all, because they all were so nice together. See.
Awesome.
So that is my new yarn.
Mm-hmm. So I only have one new skein of yarn, but it's a new skein that Sari made especially for me for the wool anniversary.
Yeah.
So I am really into oranges and browns, and so she dyed me this great variegated of oranges and browns, and also it kind of looks like a tiger, or like your orange house cat, which is also great because orange cats are the best.
Orange cats are the best.
Orange cats are the best. So, and it's also, I really like single ply yarn, so it's single ply worsted, I think.
Yep.
It's super soft. And as you know, I'm Jonas, so she named this colorway Carrying the Wheel, after the Weezer song, My Name is Jonas. Mm-hmm. And apparently I get to decide whether or not this ever goes in the shop or if it's just mine and only mine forever. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that yet. I don't know what I'm going to do with this either, but I've been I really like cowls and I really like shawls now. So I will probably find some type of neckwear to do with this. I want to get into fingerless mitts. Yeah. I want to, but at the same time,
You know my feelings on fingerless mitts.
I know, in this climate, it doesn't make sense.
If it's warm enough to have mittens, or if it's cold enough to need mittens, it's cold enough to need your fingers covered.
Yeah. Yeah. So that is my one new yarn, and I am super excited about it, and I think it's just about perfect for me. So, as always, and once again, thank you.
You're welcome. And if you all want that color to be available for you to purchase, please put all the pressure in the world on Jonas.
Yeah.
Because he is the one that has ultimate decision power on whether or not that can happen.
It's true. I do cave easily to pressure. I do. So it probably won't actually even take that much. Yeah. But if nobody says anything, I will probably jealously guard it for the rest of my days.
Or like at least until he gets to knit with it.
Yeah. I want to finish my project with it first.
Yeah, there's only one new colorway.
All right.
So I'm working on it right now, and it looks very different on this base than it looks on the base that's downstairs drying. But that's the nature of dye pots, friends. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to do for ZK. A lot of people do retreat exclusives, and I'm not saying that this will not be available after the retreat. I'm just saying I'm going to debut it at the retreat because there's no way I'm not making this yarn available after the retreat. So it's a special retreat, ZK retreat colorway, and at some point in the future after the retreat, you all will be able to buy it. That could be right away, depending on how much I have left. It could be not for another 6 months. We'll see. I haven't decided yet. But this is our DK weight base. This is the double lolly DK, BFL DK superwash. And the colorway is called Heart of the City. We'll put it up here so you can see, hopefully. It's greens and blue and brown and gray. And I should actually show you the other one that's not skeined. So you hold that. I'm going to go get the other one. Sure.
Hold this like so?
It's tied.
Okay. I love how squishy BFL is.
Yeah. This BFL DK is really nice.
Yeah.
Look up purple. So this is what it looks like on not rewound. So blue, and there's some green and some brown and some gray, etc. on it. And this colorway was actually, to be fair, it was designed by Jonas. Let's give credit where credit's due. I had the idea that I wanted to do a yarn for Minnehaha Parkway, Minnehaha Creek, which is a little bit that way from us. Mm-hmm. And it sort of harkens back to War for the Oaks, which we've talked about in episode 1. It's a book by local author Emma Bull. And part of in that book, they were riding a motorcycle along the parkway, and one of the characters referred to Minnehaha Creek as the heart of the city, because it carries water through the city, essentially, between the two rivers, the Minnesota River and the Mississippi River. And there's a cool waterfall, which is like the main feature of Minnehaha Creek, but the creek itself is nice, and it's this really active park and bike trail and hiking and walking and running and dogs and just super cool stuff. And like really cool stone bridges and trees and water and rocks, and people kayak on it, and all sorts of activity goes on there, which is another reason the character said it's the heart of the city. And so this is a colorway inspired by that, and so it's called Heart of the City. Mm-hmm. And it's a place that's special to us. We like it a lot. We in the summer when it's nice, we walk along the creek and just hang out. And occasionally get ice cream.
Yeah. The one place that
There's
has
one
coconut.
place that has like 2 flavors of coconut ice cream.
Yep.
So that's the new color. I could show you. We bought some fabric for project bags for the Gilmore Girls swap. I'll just flash it at you so you can't see. But
yeah,
we're gonna make some project bags.
First project bag ever. I've cut many of them out before, but this is the first time I'm sewing them. So spoilee. I'm gonna try to do my best.
He's better at sewing in a straight line than me.
Yeah, but I'm not better at sewing in general than you.
But really project bags are really all about can you sew in a straight line. So I have a feeling yours is gonna be better than mine.
Sweet. I'm gonna feel special.
Yeah, that's the new color. I'm also working on all the mini skeins.
Mm-hmm. All of them.
But I already showed you those.
All right. So, Outlander Yarn Club. So the 3rd season of Outlander is supposed to start sometime in September. They haven't given us a date yet, as far as I can tell on the internet. So, the Outlander Yarn Club we are going to do a 2-month bundle and a 4-month bundle. And we plan to start it in September because we want you to have something in your hands to be knitting when the show actually premieres. So our plan is we'll probably pick, for the first month at least, we're going to pick a favorite scene, a favorite outfit, some inspiration from season 2. And that will be the colorway for September. And we're going to offer this on sock and non-sock bases. So choose your adventure if you're a sock knitter or not a sock knitter. And then are we going to go every other month after September or every month?
It depends on how many signups I get.
Okay.
Because if it's only... if I'm doing, like we talked about, if I'm doing 25, it's very different than if I'm doing 50. So I'm going to cap this at either 25 or 50. I haven't decided yet. I'll probably cap it at 25, and then if there's a huge amount of people that want to do it, I'll raise it to 50. But that'll have to make it an every other month club, because I don't have time to dye
more than 25
skeins each month.
Okay.
And dye and wind, and I mean, like, if you think our current yarn winding backlog is bad, like, try winding 50 skeins every month.
Mm-hmm. And getting the postage ready.
Yeah. And getting everything done. So I would plan on an every other month shipping. I wish I had that detail. I need to make a decision, basically. Mm-hmm. It's going to make my life easier if we do it every other month, so unless I hear strong opposition, I think I'm going to plan on every other month, because we also talked about the show likes to historically do a mid-season break, and so, because I was worried that if we did every other month, it'd be like you'd get like 2 skeins while the show was still on, which isn't awesome. Like, that's not exciting. But if they do the mid-season break, then the timing will actually work out.
Because you should get 2 skeins during the first half of the season and 2 skeins during the second half of the season.
Yeah. I wish I knew if they were doing it. So that's the problem, is that the network's not really saying.
Mm-hmm. So, for the first 2 months and for the 4 months, we'll get a page up on the website and on the Etsy shop.
Yeah.
With all of the details of shipping. And we're going to have signups open until August 1st if you want to do the 4 months or the first 2 months. And if you live in the continental United States, the 2-month is going to be $65, and that includes the shipping if you're in the continental US. And the 4 months will be $125, so we'll give you a little bit of a price break. And again, all the shipping's included in that price. When we do, we'll probably, if we're doing every other month, we'll probably open the second half signups up. So that'd be September, November, January. We probably open the second half signups up November, and then cap them in December.
Yeah. And I want to be clear, you can still order this internationally.
Yes.
I'll just have to do a different price point for you because I'll have to figure out what shipping is going to be to your area. So if you see the listing on Etsy and you're interested in it, but you are outside the continental US, please by all means send a message. Otherwise, I know with Etsy you can set up the shipping profile, so I may just figure out what the price would be for the skeins without shipping in the US, and then set one up where you can pay the shipping costs internationally, if that's something you're interested in.
Yep. Yeah, we international viewers and fans, we also want to get yarn to you.
Somehow we will figure that out. Either
Yes.
if there's not a specific listing for outside the US, then send us a message, and we'll figure it out. Otherwise, I'm going to try to figure out how to do a listing that will still give you a break on shipping, but will also not mean I have to spend the entire cost of shipping. This is what you've paid me. So
yeah. No, I think that makes sense. But I'm really excited about this. I love Outlander. It's just great. And like, I don't know, there's so much fun things you can do with whether you're drawing inspiration from the Scottish landscapes in the show, or if you're drawing inspiration from all the good tartans, or especially in season 2, all the great Parisian dresses Claire was wearing.
That's one of the things is it's not just limited to like Scottish Highlands stuff, because they travel so many places in the show that it's about, you can get inspiration from, their time in Paris. You can have like 1950s England.
Mm-hmm.
There's parts of it in the US in the 60s. So there's so many things.
Yes. So we'll make sure there's a link to whatever we get set up on the website and Etsy in the show notes.
Mm-hmm.
So keep an eye out for that. And yeah, I think we'll probably have a note about what we're capping at the club at too, just so we can manage our lives.
Yeah, I mean, because when I set up the Etsy, it'll have X number of available spots.
Cool.
So I'll make most of them available via Etsy, and reserve some to have available via the website, just depending on how you feel like signing up for it. I know some people prefer to use Etsy because it's a more secure medium. Obviously, I prefer to take sales on my own website because I can control the variables better, but the security of guaranteed sale and seller protection on Etsy is something that's important to people. So that's why I continue to sell on both platforms, even though it means I have to manage my inventory a little bit more manually. But either way, we will have links to both places.
Yep.
Choose your own adventure.
Yep. So that's it for the upstairs portion of today's show.
I have fandom stuff to talk about, but we can do most of it next time. I'm just going to really encourage you that if you are or have ever been a fan of Doctor Who, you should. The new season is really great. The new companion, Bill, love her a lot. She is canonically queer woman of color, and it's something the fans have been asking for a while, and they finally did it, and they did it right, because it's not a thing, it's not a gimmick, it's not anything. She just is that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been a great experience. And the new spin-off show Class, which is based off of the gifted and talented class at Coal Hill School, which is a nod to something from the previous season. That show, it's very different, and it's Torchwood-esque.
Mm-hmm.
In that there's random aliens coming to Earth through this portal that basically the school is a rift now. And these kids have been tasked with kind of keeping an eye on it. And they're all high school students, and they all have different hardships and whatever. And they sort of all have just come together around this. And it's dark and it's creepy and scary, but like not in any way that makes you creeped out or scared.
Yeah, at least not us.
Oh yeah, probably maybe not you, but not me. I just found it fascinating. The last episode was like, both of us kept saying like, I know that this is like, what's going on here is terrifying, but I've never felt scared about it. I'm just like, what's going to happen? How are they going to deal with this? This is a big thing. So I encourage you to check it out, because we found out that whether or not it gets a second season entirely hinges on American audiences.
Yeah, because I guess the ratings in Britain were mediocre. So if it does good here, they'll renew it. If it does poor here, they won't. Yeah. Because it didn't do bad enough in Britain that they're not going to renew it, but it also didn't do good enough in Britain. So
we'll see. If it does well,
I mean,
yeah.
The fact that we're really enjoying it and it's not a long established series probably means it's doomed, because we're good like that.
Historically, that's what it means.
Historically, we're awesome about that. But yeah. So for me, I know this is bye-bye for the week.
Yeah, I mean, we'll take you. I'll do a short video of the dye studio. So I am recording on my phone, and I hope that it can hear me. Otherwise, I guess I will record some audio over the top of this. But I wanted to take you all down here and show you my impressive dye studio / laundry room. Look, washer, dryer, sink. The reason I'm using this room is 1, because it's in the basement and horribly convenient. 2, because it has this sink right here. And 3, because it has space for me to dry the yarn. 4, because it has this cool built-in table, which I imagine is for folding clothes or something. But I have usurped into the table in which I dye yarn. So I told you before, you could see stuff drying. That's the new gradient. It turned out a lot more Easter eggy than I meant for it to, but it's pretty cool. So in this corner, I have my rarely used, to be fair, microwave, which I use for some of the hand paints that I do to set the dye. On top of it are my jars of dye stock. I use glass mason jars, which is really, I know, just asking for me to drop things and make a mess. But I took a dyeing class at the textile center that had us actually dye in the mason jars, because you can put the jar, obviously without the lid, directly into the microwave to heat if it needs to, or you can set it on a steamer rack to steam. So I just kind of kept using those jars. This shelf is holding, here are all of my dyes. The powder dyes, paper towel, and then the pots and some of the dishware I use to pull the yarn out and stuff are on the bottom. In the future, I might use that as yarn, like already dyed yarn storage, but for now I just kept the pot there. Pot is rarely on the shelf, so it doesn't really need to go there. Usually I just stack all that stuff up under this table, and that needs a little bit of organizational work still. This side is stuff that's clean is over here, and then the aluminum lasagna pan. I buy a bunch of aluminum, like dollar store sheet pans and things like that to just hold my stuff. And then that's like my work surface. Mostly this lasagna pan is my work surface, and then here. And then this is, I dye on this hot plate because there's not a stove down here, but I bought this mat that says "Be Awesome" because I wasn't sure about it. These yellow and green things are like party tablecloths, so they're plastic. So I wasn't sure about like the heat from the hot surface on here. And obviously I make way more of a mess than I thought I did, because now that I have these drop cloths, I was like, whoa, I spill a lot. And the backsplash on the wall is pretty bad, so hopefully that'll either clean off or we can paint over it. I mean, it's a laundry room, so I'm not super worried about it, but and so yeah, and then everything gets carried over here to this sink where I wash it, and then I put it on these racks to dry. It takes forever, but you know, they drip and there's a floor drain, so that's good. We're hoping to get a dehumidifier, so hopefully it'll be a little less wet down here and we can suck some of the moisture out and get stuff dried faster. And then maybe another thing I'm thinking about looking into is getting there's a skein dryer, an automatic skein dryer, where it's basically like a salad spinner for yarn skeins. You just put them in there and they it spins the excess water out and then they dry way faster. So that's something I'm looking into. But that is a quick 5-minute. Here is where the magic happens. So welcome, and hopefully at some point we'll come down here and actually do maybe a dye tutorial or a here's how I dye sort of thing. Just take some video of that process, because I know people have an interest in that. So thanks.
If you stuck with us this far, we appreciate it.
Yes.
This is what happens when we like actually go out in the world and do life.
I know. We have a lot going on, and we took a trip, and we only record once a month, so you get our entire month in one episode instead of us spreading this out over 4 30-minute episodes or 4 45-minute episodes. It's all right here in one.
Yep. But we love you and appreciate you.
Thanks for sticking with us this long.
All right.
Have a good month. We will see you either immediately before or immediately after ZK. Unsure which.
Mm-hmm. Either way, I'm sure we will be emotional wrecks.
Yeah. All right. Thanks all.
Bye, everyone.